We're back.
We are. Oh, that was a cool voice. We are back. Welcome to. Did you do it on purpose, or is that my headphones?
That's your headphones.
Oh, it sounded like you did like a It's like you did like a Kermit the Frog. Oh, we're back.
Yeah, we're back.
Oh, okay. So that obviously wasn't you because that's a terrible impression. Anyway. All right, well, that's actually way better. Anyway, welcome to another episode of Twitching Upstream. Depending on what you're watching, this is my favorite show that I do. That also Dylan is a part of. It comes out on Tuesdays and is our live one. But easily my favorite in those subcategories. This is an offshoot of one of my other favorite shows, Talking Upstream, which just started season 2. And that what we do is we find our favorite creators. We find people that have created our favorite movies or podcasts or board games. Or
are you saying we actually have a season 2 done beyond a trailer?
We have actually started and officially started a season 2. Yeah. We have lots of trailers of season 2 going. Very little motivation. But this one is actually.
Have you seen everything recently?
Yeah.
In this economy?
I've seen stuff in the economy. It's not great. It's pretty bleak. But if you want something that's not bleak, you can check out Some Nobodies. We got some weird shows that'll most likely make you snort your milk out if you're drinking milk, or at least chortle at the idea of something. And yeah, like I was saying, Talking Upstream, we find our favorite creators and we chat with them about why they do what they do, what was their motivating force, their process, and then we pitch them an original idea, and then we go off on that. We just released season 2, episode 1, which was Mr. Taylor King. Awesome interview. If you've been on Amazon Prime, it's actually, if you go down to, I think, horror, it on my thing, and maybe because I've watched it a couple times, I doubt it. But it's like the second one under the horror category. Super hot. So check it out. Awesome guy, big Star Wars fan. We have some really great episodes of that coming up soon. I'm not going to talk about them. That's a different show.
Don't spoil it.
I don't want to.
We got good stuff coming.
It's some good milk. I don't want to spoil it. But anyway, what we do on this show is we take those ideas that we've come up with already, and we wanted to break it down a little bit more. Wanted to make sure that people see how we do, why we do things like Silicon Angels, Create Your Own Podventure, and whatever. So until some people get into the stream, because we always do this live, so we want to make sure that your comments are heard and paid attention to. So if anytime you're watching this and you got something to say, or you want our story to take a different route, or have a better name for a character, throw it in the comments. We would love to engage. Also, let us know your favorite emoji. We would like to see emojis in the chat for some reason. That's always cool. So before any of that starts, I always have a bit of like weird nerd news or something I want to chat with Dylan about, just to get his lackluster brain churning. Not that your brain is lackluster, it's just that I bring out the lackluster part of your brain.
No, I lost an hour of sleep this week because the government stole my son.
That's true. I don't know why they're taxing time now, but that's pretty ridiculous. But I realized they just put out recently at MCU News that Blade is going to make his official appearance, which is, cast by Mahershala Ali. Now, his voice was in the end credit thing of the Eternals.
Oh, that's
yeah, and you can hear his voice. But apparently, Werewolf by Night will be the first appearance of Mahershala Ali's Blade, which makes me think, because the more I'm learning about this, it is Werewolf by Night. It is coming out on Halloween. It's going to be a Halloween special that is set place in the MCU, and it's also directed by Michael Giacchino, who is a phenomenal musician,
composer.
Literally makes some of the best scores I've ever heard.
What else has Giacchino directed? Or is that your question?
No, my question to you was, what does an MCU holiday special look like? Because most holiday specials are kind of fun and light and stupid, like Treehouse of Horrors, where they don't really matter. But you have Moon Knight coming out this month. You're going to have Werewolf by Night, which has Blade in it, which means it's probably not too light. So what do you think this holiday special is going to be like?
I think it's going to have some cameos, and I think that it's going to impact the MCU in a way where if you don't watch it, you are going to at least be like, huh? If you watch something that comes out after it.
Yeah.
There's going to be some cameo or some reference or some inevitability that is mentioned in Werewolf by Night that will make it required viewing moving forward for the MCU canon to make sense to people.
Yeah, but I'm thinking that this is a way that they can kind of establish a character like, Moon Knight, but then also do a little bit of fan service by making him show up, say one of the most famous lines of Moon Knight's, career, and then kind of dip out while being funny, but no real, anything. So I'm curious.
The famous line, of course, being hippity hoppity, get off my property.
Yeah, which everyone knows is probably the coolest thing that any character has ever said. I was also thinking that it would be a great way to bring Keanu Reeves as Constantine. Okay, that's actually a whole different universe. Different topic, which I'm going to get to soon.
Oh, yeah, I was like, wait a minute.
I'm reading too far ahead of my notes. But so Giacchino has only directed, this will be his third thing. He did one episode of Star Trek called Short Treks, which sounds stupid. In 2019, which I think is nothing that good.
It was a promo, I think, for Discovery.
Oh, okay.
There were it was like an anthology.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he did one episode of that, and then he did a short called Monster Challenge. So this will be his first kind of big thing. So it's this odd. I don't know. I hope that he's got a good eye. I don't see why he wouldn't. In other MCU news, obviously with Disney Plus bringing all those Marvel shows into Disney Plus, the Daredevil, Jessica Jones, Luke Cage, Iron Fist, unfortunately, the Defenders, Punisher, all that's hitting up there. And with Charlie Cox's Daredevil being in the last Spider-Man movie, they kind of talked to him, and he showed up at a Comic-Con recently, and he was saying that the MCU's version of Charlie Cox's Daredevil is going to be like a reimagining, a rebirth of Daredevil, which just makes sense with all the multiversal ways to bring actors in without actually doing anything. But what I want to talk about is Dune news. Dune news. Obviously, part 2 is coming out soon. Excited about that. They're going to start casting. There's some pretty big characters in the second half of this, or at least second part of this. And one of them is Princess Irulan. Is that
Irulan, something like that.
Now, apparently Florence Pugh is up for this. Now, you know this story a lot better than I do. What do you think of Florence Pugh's casting? Is it just because she's kind of hot right now, or does she actually fit that role?
I think she kind of fits that role. The 1984 one, I don't remember the actor's name, but it had like someone who looks kind of like Florence Pugh in the role, like kind of blonde and similar. Irulan doesn't do a whole lot in the first book. Mostly shows up at the end.
Yeah.
And you have spoilers. I'm not going to spoil it. But you had Virginia Madsen as Princess Irulan in the first movie, in the Lynch movie.
Made famous from Monk.
Oh yeah. Huh. Wow. Okay. I didn't know that. I didn't have that connection. But no, it's going to be interesting to see what they do, because in the book, every chapter starts with a section of the history of the Empire, or the history of Dune, or the meditations on Prince Muad'Dib, or something like that. And a lot of them are written by her character after the fact. So she's the one who imparts a lot of backstory to the reader. And I wonder how they're going to do it, if they do it in part 2.
Yeah, I'm curious, because I mean, she's a big name right now. So to me, it's like, okay, well, I don't know if this is like a big character in Villeneuve's version, or if
I mean,
who knows?
it would fit with Villeneuve casting big names in relatively small parts. Like, I mean, part one had pretty much everybody be a big character.
Yeah. In other weird news, movie stuff, they are working on a God of War movie. They got the writers of the Wheel of
Right.
Time, the Amazon series. They're going to start working on that. Two things I wanted to ask you about this. Number one, well, I guess there's probably multiple questions. Have you played the God of War series?
Barely. I
Yeah.
played I played God of War B, whatever. They named one of the games the same as the first one. So there's God of War, God of War 2, God of War 3, God of War, and now they're doing God of War 2 again, but they're different games. So I played part of the one where you have a kid.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the
Part of it.
newer.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it was
that's the
cool.
newer series. Yeah.
I know of it. Like it kind of the game releases kind of paralleled my own kind of like interest in gaming. So I
Yeah.
was always aware of it. I just never had a Sony device to play it on.
Yeah, so I played the original ones. I haven't played them
Mm-hmm.
after I think the third one.
Yeah.
I don't know the new one. So when I heard of a God of War movie, to me, Kratos just screams and jumps and stabs people. Like there's no
Yeah.
real movie except for him kind of attacking very, very large, cool looking things.
Right.
I didn't even know that he had a son because I think that's in the second series. So it was just really interesting in how they're going to do a movie where pretty much the character is just mad at gods and going at it. But if you haven't seen it, then or played them.
Yeah.
Now, the last bit of movie trivia that I found aggressively interesting. Michael Jai White has a movie production studio, and apparently the latest production that they're starting to work on is a biopic of Billy Joel. Now,
Okay.
Billy Joel has not given permission to, actually has refused permission for his name, his likeness, and his songs. But the person that's making this movie is the son of the music producer that was apparently during the worst time in Billy Joel's life. So you have this movie producer
Oh,
who kind of told these tales to his 4-year-old son, who grew up knowing who Billy Joel is, who now is making a biopic. Do you think there's a way that you could do a biopic on a musician without using his name, his likeness, or his songs?
like a stuck record, the only one that stands out is Walk Hard, where it is a parody of Johnny Cash biopics with elements of other ones.
Yeah.
So,
But
oh,
but
this is
without
going to
using
be
his
interesting.
likeness, yeah, it's going to be kind of tough. So
Hmm.
I'm pretty interesting how to do. And why would you do a musician if you can't even use his music? Like he has epic music, and
Yeah.
yeah, so weird. But yeah, that's all the weird movie news that I came across this week. So we're going to get into what this show does. I'm going to let Dylan tell you what we're going to do, what we have done, and what we're going to try to get done
Yeah. So, this time
this
on this
time.
show, what we do is kind of expand on the work that we try to do in Talking Upstream. Sometimes our interviews go a little long, which is cool. We love it when that happens.
Way cool.
But sometimes we get a chance to actually spend some time talking about like story and outlining some stuff and getting some stuff done. So that's what Twitching Upstream is to do more of that without the interview segment. And the project that we're working on right now was tentatively called Relics way back when we first did it in episode 24. And now I think is GEO-SNATCHER, something along
Yeah.
those lines. Yeah,
Yeah.
cool. I mean, title is always TBD. It does kind of fit the tone towards what you go for. Whatever. So,
Well,
what we,
Relics is already like a weird horror movie from the 90s, though.
I mean, and it's a horror movie from like 2019 and a horror movie from like 2012. Titles are dime a dozen. Whatever. Anyway, what we're doing now, GEO-SNATCHER. The rough idea, it was originally a text message from Zach to me saying that it was what happens if during a national treasure style clue hunt, so, globe-trotting, clue following, historical tie-ins, that sort of stuff. What if some geocaching bro just kind of interrupted the sequence and made things difficult for the treasure hunters. So he came up with GEO-SNATCHER. The idea is that Patton Cage, he's a museum acquisitions guy. He's loosely based on Laura Croft. Laura Croft. Craft? Laura Croft has a fair amount of money.
Do I say that weird?
No, I'm intentionally being obtuse. But yeah, so Patton Cage and Dirk Romulus are rival treasure hunters. One of them works for a museum. One of them is a black market guy, but he tends to sell them to people who give them back to museums anyway, could just get some cash on the side. And Jack Van Gray, excuse me, is like descended from a long line of treasure hunters. Takes it very seriously and has a very serious reputation. He's obsessed with finding Paul McCartney's actual grave because remember, Paul is dead. Isn't dead? It's Paul's not dead.
No, Paul. Well, the conspiracy theory is that Paul is dead and has been dead since Abbey Road.
Yes. Okay. The three of them
Road.
are on Abbey Road. Road. But they are on a hunt for, I believe, Alexander the Great's remains. Yeah. Cool. I'm reacquainting myself. Like I said, we lost an hour of sleep this week, and it hit me way harder and way later than I expected.
Hell yeah.
Then along the way, they wind up in Florida. But when they land up in Florida, not only do they realize that the trail has gone cold, the trail has gone cold because Connor, who works at Everglades Tour Boats LLC, has intercepted the trail accidentally while on a geocaching trip and is trying to sell the clue on the internet. He works with a woman named Jasmine. They have a quirky will they won't they romantic comedy stuff. And ultimately, this is probably going to have the tone of who's the producer with the tree that gets hit by lightning?
Who's the producer? Oh,
Bruckheimer.
Icon? Oh, Bruckheimer.
It's probably going to have like a Jerry Bruckheimer tone, you know, kind of loose and fun and PG 13-ish. Probably PG.
Yeah, PG.
Kids are going to go see this.
Kids got to see this.
Yeah, that's how you get the money.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we had Act 1. It was a treasure hunt for Alexander the Great's remains in the Philippines. Everybody arrives on the site. Jack Van Gray leaves Beanie Babies as his calling card. It's a very rare Beanie Baby. There's an underground treasure hunting kind of circuit. They are like, oh, the so-and-so beat us to it again. I wonder what they're doing now. And then we cut to a shadowy figure jumping through the wilderness. It turns out it's just Connor. He's some college kid who goes to University of Miami and wears like one of those tank tops with the really low-cut armholes. And probably has that haircut where it's kind of like swooped up and back and like fake wild. I don't know, like a normal version of Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah. Brian Reynolds.
But yeah, he's got a collection of weird geocaching oddities. He makes a little side hustle selling them on eBay. He's crushing on Jasmine, who he works with. He's got a missing dad. It's not important, but it's a red herring, so you think he might be related to someone. He enters a geocaching contest. There's a big cache in the Everglades. Jasmine covers the shift so he can go out, finds the cache, doesn't find the cache. He actually finds a fountain of youth, which is just ruin. We're not going to have him be immortal. Unless we want to.
We'll get there.
That's a decision for later. He finds a jar of salt. He's like, all right, this is weird, but I found it. He does not win the competition because it's not the prize. So in his anger, he posts the salt for sale on the internet. Dirk and Patton do some clue riddling, figure out the clue chain leads to the ruins, find his alligator pin because he dropped it there when he was in the forest, jungle, whatever. They kind of like do the bumbling heist thing where they, pretend that they're ineffectual non-people. Find his posting online, hunt him down, meet up in his apartment. We have some weird interaction between the three of them. And then Jack shows up at the tour boat office. I think that's when we left. We had some clues for later on.
Yeah.
Where Dirk and Patton and Connor wind up beating Jack to the next clue, but Connor's trinket isn't, or his trinket, I don't know. Yeah. Jack calls them because he's kidnapped Jasmine, offers them a trade. They're surprised that Jack would take a hostage. And I think there was some sort of misdirect there. But they arranged to meet at the food truck at the black market, the taco place, not the Thai place.
Right.
And then ultimately we learn that Jack is Patton's long-lost uncle and wanted this to be like a side-by-side family bonding experience. So we're a little all over the place right now.
We're probably all over the place. Now, reading that back, though, what do you think is the most important thing for us to work on right now?
Well, highlighted in yellow that I put down last week, to do. Get the ending, and we're missing a very big step somewhere in here.
Yeah, that is a solid to do. The
Yeah.
last one. Okay, so the ending. Now, obviously, we can go the route of maybe our hero kind of, not our, like Patton. You know, Patton maybe dies or is like dying, you know, and then Connor takes over for him. Or becomes his kind of Robin. I think those are some easy endings.
Okay.
Or I guess character endings. The Man in Gray, I feel like there's something, or Jack Van Gray, I think there's something that we have to have a pretty solid twist on his character. I think he's doing all this for a reason. And I think that Jasmine and Connor should not get together, but we should definitely finish up her storyline as well. So what of that do you think is easiest?
I think we need to figure out Jack's motivation.
Yeah.
And honestly, I think one thing that we're missing here is the drive for like the big trail they're on. Like we have them opening up with searching for Alexander the Great's remains. Sure. Yeah. But the opening is always a cold open. It doesn't have to relate to the actual thing at the end. So we should figure out like what's the big historical mystery they're trying to figure out. Like in National Treasure, it's where the treasure of the founders was. In various other treasure hunting things, they have their big, the white whale.
Yeah.
Indiana Jones Ark of the Covenant. Like, there's always that thing that is the MacGuffin.
What about that spear thing, the spear of destiny?
I think
because it would need to be older than some of the things they're looking for, right? Because if they're on a trail for things, you would think that it would kind of either have to go back in time, or at least the ultimate one be the oldest thing.
Right. My only thing about Spear of Destiny is that it's been done a lot in stuff that I'm aware of.
Oh yeah, like Constantine.
Yeah, well, it's a pretty good. Dresden Files has it show up. Like, I mean, the Spear of Longinus is a pretty well tread like fiction, like myth in fiction.
Yeah.
But if we want it to be something that could be historical and monetary, and if we want to relate it to Alexander the Great's tomb, we could have it be Cleopatra's tomb. Nobody really knows where it is.
All right, that sounds cool.
Related.
Yeah, and there's probably some real cool stuff in there.
Yeah, like a snake.
Yeah, or like golden cats.
Yeah. Oh, hell yeah. Yeah, we're going to go after that golden cat. All right, cool.
We want those golden cats.
Ultimate goal.
Yeah.
Find Cleopatra's tomb. Because we had the joke in one of the earlier episodes doing this particular story where the tomb is in Alexandria, but they've already looked through Alexandria. No, Alexandria, Virginia.
Virginia.
Yeah, to Virginia. And it's like, oh man, I don't want to go to Virginia.
Yeah, kind of Virginia.
Well, but then you have your big establishing shot of like Washington, D.C. and the Washington Monument, and the Capitol building.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
You have your big treatise on American history, whatever.
Sure.
But I think we should do some character stuff, ultimately.
Yeah,
some further character stuff, mostly in Connor and Jasmine, because we've figured out Patton, Dirk, and Jack for the most part. We did some character stuff on them last time.
I also like maybe like a scene of, so Connor has whatever they need to get into one part of their journey, right?
Yeah.
So I kind of like the idea of maybe like Connor being like, fine, but you got to help me do this geocaching exercise. And they're like, no. And he's like, I just got to get these points. I'm really interested in, winning this challenge thing.
You got to help me. You got to help hook me up with my coworker. And they're like, no, man, that's weird. Like, we're not going to do that. And he's like, fine, help me on my geocaching. And they're like, all right, that's a lot more reasonable and not as creepy.
Yeah. And that's like right before they go to the end scene.
Yeah.
Okay.
Cool.
So
we should change the salt then.
Yeah, I think the salt should be something a little bit more that has a good visual to it, but also can be used as a key inadvertently. I think that's always a pretty solid trope in like finding movies. It's like, oh, what is this thing? It's like, oh, but if you put it into this,
right,
it's a key. Yeah.
For some reason, the centuries-old mechanisms still run perfectly, even though they're covered in fake cobwebs and like torches.
Yeah, I mean, wood doesn't degrade.
No, of course not. So one thing that we could do is that it could be something brought over by Ponce de Leon. That way the Fountain of Youth could be a mistranslation of like, it wasn't supposed to grant eternal life. It was supposed to make the rest of your life worth living. It's all gold or something, it's gold or money or something like that.
Yeah.
And then it could be, let's see. I'm going to do a little bit of Cleopatra. Let's see. Cleopatra medallion artifact.
Yeah, or some kind of cat.
I mean, yeah, hell, let's just make it a cat medallion.
It's a golden cat.
Yeah, he finds a gold cat in the ruins of like some Mesoamerican Everglades thing, or just finds it.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, cool. Let's see. Finds a golden cat medallion.
It's a cat.
Golden cat. Not a medallion?
It can be a medallion, sure.
It's a statue. Let's see. Almost immediately after Aaron refuses to believe he's been beaten to the punch, he thinks Dirk and Patton are behind it. Connor goes to submit what it is in his anger, and because it's a golden cat statue, I mean, he posts it for sale online.
Yeah, it's got like the 7-day bidding, and the biddings are getting pretty high.
Yeah, cool. They find Connor's work pin, follow it to Everglades Tour. They heist his information from the back office while the other distracts Jasmine, but she immediately knows what's going on because it's not her first rodeo with people weird. She's in Florida. It's not her first time having weirdos break into her place of work and try and get into the computer.
No, that's where Florida man lives.
Yeah, yeah, you're right. It's his stomping grounds. But she immediately lets Connor know some weirdos are in on him or after him. She just plays it cool. She's like, I'm not getting stabbed for this job. You guys take whatever you want, and I'll be outside. I'm not going to call the cops. She just, Jasmine's savvy. She knows what's up.
She's pretty savvy.
Connor thinks they're rival geocachers and decides to go on the run with the cat, the gold cat. Dirk and Patton go to Connor's apartment. Connor tricks him into taking a fake clue.
Yeah.
You want to stick with that? Cool.
Not a fake clue. Maybe like a fake something. Like because I like them having something that isn't that they I don't know how this is going to work out.
Sure.
But I like Connor giving him something that they think is the right thing. They don't maybe know exactly why, but they think it's the right thing because that's what he found. When they all get to the final part, the final location, it doesn't work.
Okay.
Because so I was kind of going with that trope.
They give him a fake MacGuffin.
Yeah.
We don't need to figure out what it is right now.
Not right now, no.
Cool. Well, knowing us, we will say that it's something and stick to it too strongly, and then it'll be an issue like the salt. We're like, well, we said salt, so it's going to be salt. How do we work that in? Okay, but it has to work with the salt.
But it would need to be something that has to do with Cleopatra to a degree, but we'll get back there.
It's convincingly Egyptian.
Yeah.
Whatever Connor has on hand, who knows? Maybe it's... who knows? Or hell, it could just be like a bottle of Crystal Skull vodka, and it's just this ancient bottle is what they used to drink sipping chocolate out of.
Yeah, or it's like just like so if depending on who Jasmine is, she could collect like quartz things. And I know one of the big like trends is to have like pyramids, tiny pyramids that are like made out of different things. So maybe Connor just quickly grabs one of those and hands them out like, hey, it's this diamond pyramid.
Oh man, Jasmine is like an astrology like crystal girl.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. Okay.
Yeah, she's
And she's
smart. Why
like,
wouldn't she be?
yeah, well, no, I like the idea that Connor like gives her a hard time for it, and she's like, listen, I understand that like magic isn't real, but this makes me feel like I'm in control of something that I don't have control of. So drop it,
Yeah.
bro.
Yeah, so maybe we could even like foreshadow that in the very beginning. And Connor's like, I don't believe in this stuff. And she's like, listen, you don't understand the way the universe works. It's crazy, trust me. And if this thing that maybe she puts like in his window, for like sunlight or whatever, that way when the bad guys come, they take this piece instead, and then possibly at the end, that piece is what saves them.
It like refracts an ancient laser or something.
Yeah, or he just stabs him with it or something.
Or they just stab someone with it.
Yeah.
That's cool too.
But I like it being Chekhov's gun.
Yeah, Chekhov's crystal.
Yeah.
Where is that? She like Connor has a particular crystal trinket Jasmine once gave him. It's Chekhov's crystals. It's spelled somehow like that.
Yeah, maybe it's like a keychain that he had that like broke in like the last expedition, or whenever we do cut them together, whenever we introduce her, she's giving him this gemstone or whatever, something along those lines. I think that's good for now.
We see, and it can have like, it can have some sort of old significance to them if they had that on again, off again thing. It's like, when did you give me this? It was the third time we got back together. Oh. Yeah. So wait, it's my turn to get us one next time? There's not going to be a next time, Connor.
Yeah, and if we do it on a keychain kind of thing, then obviously we could have like the visual cue later, which is like maybe it was on the key ring that has like the best fan boat or the fastest fan boat, and then later when they need a fan boat ride, she grabs the keys and like that
oh yeah,
gone.
Cool.
But yeah, maybe we should take all the people and kind of give them their own arcs to see how we can kind of merge them all around.
Yeah, let's do it. Or do we want to do that now, or do we want to keep going through the plot a little bit?
Maybe let's work on the characters so we can kind of. Okay. I think with what the character arcs are doing, we can kind of help out the plot.
Cool.
So if we have like the two main treasure hunters, right? You got Patton and Dirk. Now, what do you think is a compelling story if all of our story is about two treasure hunters looking for Cleopatra's? Like were they like an ex team that did this?
Yeah, the original idea we had, the reason we called it relics is because they were two aging treasure hunters who got back into the game because their love of it kind of pushed them back together.
Yeah, okay, I'm into that. Well,
okay.
that makes the name of the movie make more sense.
Right.
I forgot about that part.
That's okay. I forgot about a lot. I should probably go. Yeah, anyway, whatever.
It's been a long day.
It's been a long time to exist. Anyway, so Jasmine's arc, she collects crystals and other quote unquote hippie trinkets,
mm-hmm.
Not because she necessarily believes in their literal power, but because the ritual of collecting them gives her some measure of control over a chaotic existence.
Hell yeah.
Once gave a crystal keychain to Connor.
Mm-hmm.
After their third time back together. That keychain Okay, hold on. Patton and Dirk mistake the crystal for a clue and steal it. That tips them off to ... something.
Yeah, so I would assume that at one point, like Dirk or Patton, one of the two, like when they finally catch up with Connor and he has hidden the cat or left it in the office or whatever, they're like, "We know you have it. You have to have just found it." And they pat him down, and all that he has on him is that gemstone because it had just broken off the crystal.
Yeah.
And they go, "Well, then what's this?" And he's like, "I honestly don't know."
Cool. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
Okay. And decides he does not go on the run. No, he does go on the run.
Yeah.
Okay.
But they catch him.
Yes. Okay. So
One of them catches him.
Connor thinks they're rival geocachers and decides to go on a run with the gold cat. Dirk and Patton go to Connor's apartment. Go to Connor's apartment, and when they pat him down, they find the gem that has broken off his keychain. The logic being, you haven't had time to hide anything. What's this?
Yeah.
Cool. And meanwhile, at the office, Jasmine has a cat hidden.
Yeah.
When Jack shows up there.
I was also thinking that if we wanted to keep like kind of the eBay thing, like he just puts it on eBay, maybe Jasmine in like an intelligent move buys it, like makes up like a username, buys it, and that way they can be like, look, it's sold. He already shipped it out. Like we don't have it anymore. And then I don't know, maybe we can throw it.
I like that. Yeah. Jack shows up. He knows the clue is going to be something vaguely Egyptian.
Mm-hmm.
So well, how would he find the cat then?
I would assume that through. So I guess in my vision, Jack goes to the place and kind of befriends Jasmine first, right? Like he's kind of being nice to her, and maybe he sees a bunch of trinkets and he's like, "Oh, so what's all this stuff?" And then maybe Jasmine has this thing where it's like, "Oh, the other guy who works here, he's like a geocacher, and all of the treasures that he finds, he sells on eBay, and blah blah blah, and kind of funds his weird little trips." And then maybe like on a hunch, like he either finds Connor's eBay page or just Google's somehow, like just checks on it or has the page.
Hell, what if Connor's just an idiot and has it open on his desktop?
Yeah, I think I was just about to get to that.
Okay,
like he
cool.
just has the listing open because he's checking the bids.
Yeah. Desktop. He drops the friendly facade. We get an actor like Pete Postlethwaite, rip, where he's like, oh, ha ha ha. Or, you can very, very clearly see his temperature change.
And maybe he sees the listing on the computer and kind of slowly turns like the monitor around to face him. He's like, "Oh, when did he find this?"
Mm-hmm.
And Jasmine's like, earlier. It's like, well, can I look at this one? And whatever. And maybe he takes Jasmine hostage, and she like on her phone quickly like starts up a new user and buys it.
Yeah, no, I like her buying it. Yeah, cool. Okay. Let's see. While in his control, not in his control, in his imprisonment.
Yeah.
In his custody.
Yeah.
While in his custody, she makes a quick eBay account and does the buy now option. And then we can have a joke later where Connor jokes about her owing him money.
Yeah.
And he's like, well, you can make it up to me by buying me dinner sometime. And she just pulls out her wallet and just throws a wad of 20s at him.
Yeah. I also like the idea of whenever we do cut back to the other one, maybe Connor gets a notification on his phone that this thing just sold, and whoever he's with grabs his phone and is like, what's this? And he's like, I found that I found it earlier. It's nothing. It's like, That's the key. It's not this stupid fucking gemstone.
Yeah.
So Jasmine like does a good thing, but also is kind of the cause of Connor's,
But it moves the plot forward.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, cool. Let's see. So Connor thinks a rival geocacher starts going on a run. Does he go on the run with the gold cat?
I think that the gold cat is just hidden somewhere. I don't think he has it.
He hides it in the office.
Yeah, it's in the office. Puts up for eBay, blah blah. Mm-hmm. And I would assume that whatever that broken piece is, maybe like at the final scene, whatever piece that cat's feet fit into that would turn the knobs, you know, he would try to like fit the gemstone in first. That's when the notification of the phone pops. He like throws the gemstone, and then for some reason when they're leaving there, he falls and lands on the gemstone, which kills the bad of the two. If one of them's bad,
I thought the general idea was that Dirk and Patton are generally good. They're just misguided.
Okay, that's fine too.
Jack is the antagonist. He's not a bad guy, but he's an antagonist in that he's the opposing force that wants them to not accomplish their goal.
Okay.
I don't know that we need anybody to die in this.
That's fair. You're the one always texting me. We need more death in our stories.
You're right. I do like a bleak ending.
That's true.
Yeah.
Let's go less bleak.
Yeah. No, this is like this is Sunday afternoon USA movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. Your grandpa will be like, "Oh, you know what I saw on it was on USA the other day.
It was a movie called Relics.
It was about treasure hunters. No, not relics. Not relic. Not relics.
Relics. Not relics with a Z. That's about those.
There was a cat,
boys.
And they were in Florida. You know, your grandma and I went to. Yeah. Anyway. Yeah. No, this is something that's safe for kids and safe for sponsors. Yeah. Connor takes. Let's see. Takes the initiative in their confusion and escapes. Where did they take him?
I think they take him.
Where did they take him? Because if they're at the next clue,
they know Alexandria, Virginia.
Oh, they're going immediately there.
Well, they had the final clue. They had the final key.
Cool.
Because we're still in the second act here.
Yeah.
And they haven't found out that they're in the wrong. They got the wrong stuff.
I like the idea that they like put him in like an airplane or something, and he's like, "Wait, I'm at work. Where are you guys taking me? I can't wait a minute." And he starts realizing, oh God, I'm being abducted.
Yeah, I like that. And maybe he like just calls Jasmine, who is getting abducted at the time from work. He's like, I should call Jasmine and tell her I'm not going to be there.
He's like, incoming call.
Yeah. Shit.
Okay. Take on the way. He tries to use his cell to call Jasmine to see if she'll cover his shift because hold up.
Oh, thank you.
Yes, he's being abducted. But he's getting an incoming call from Jasmine.
And he thinks she's going to be yelling for being late. And he's like, I'm not going to take that.
For being late, so he doesn't pick up. I really like that. That's really funny.
I think that's funny.
She calls Connor because she knows now that people are after the thing he found.
Yeah, I think that's great.
Man. That's good. Yeah, he like, I gotta call Jasmine. Incoming call, Jasmine.
Shit.
Never mind.
Yeah, ignore. Yeah, and I like whenever they're trying to interact with each other is when the other one messes up. Like, but her buying the thing later on, it gets him in trouble again.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Let's see. All right. So Dirk and Patton, they are going to Alexandria. They get to Alexandria. Does Connor escape at this point?
No, because they like walk him to where they think the tomb's going to be, or wherever the thing is, and they like, all right, give me the key, and he's like, I don't have anything. And this is where that scene where like they kind of, well, I guess they would have pat him down earlier, so they like try to put the crystal into stuff, and like, what is this? And then that's when the notification that the cat sold, and like they look at this cat, they look at maybe his phone, like you just sold a golden cat, and they look at whatever the wall is, and it'd be a perfect like 4 cat feet, and they go, oh my god, and they throw the crystal, and they're like, we gotta go back to the goddamn bamboo place.
Oh, we have to go back to Miami?
Yeah.
Cool. Let's see. Connor gets a notification the cat sold. They take him to where the tomb supposedly is and realize the crystal is a fake MacGuffin. eBay alert lets them know the cat statue is the real key.
Yeah.
Damn it. You mean we have to go Miami near the Everglades?
What's that?
Is Miami close to the Everglades? Or do we need to set this somewhere else?
That's close, I guess.
The drive from Miami Beach to Everglades National Park is 60 miles.
Yeah, an hour.
An hour, 42 minutes in normal traffic.
Traffic's pretty bad there.
Apparently. I mean, it's Florida. You can only go in so many directions.
That's true.
Let's see.
Then you run into the man.
Yeah, they can be in a suburb of Miami. They can be in West End, next to the Walmart Supercenter and Town Place Suites by Marriott Miami.
Aggressively specific, but yeah.
I'm looking at a direct map and I'm like, oh, that's convenient.
That is convenient.
There could be riverboat tours out there. Why not?
Yeah.
We have to go back to Miami.
Now, okay, so maybe now I'm thinking either something makes them stay there knowing that Jack is going to come with the key. So maybe Jasmine, I don't know if Jack would give Jasmine his real name, because then she could just name her username eBay like Jack Van Gray.
Jack Van Gray abducted Jasmine. Please help Connor.
It's like, well, a long username.
I kind of like that.
Yeah.
But Connor doesn't notice.
No, he doesn't.
She does that. She does that. Connor does not notice until the very end where he's like, Jasmine, I thought you were at work. And she's like, what the hell do you mean? I set my username as blah, blah, blah. And he goes, I never read the usernames of the people who buy my shit.
Yeah, I don't care what their name is.
I think at this point, when they realize they have the wrong MacGuffin, I think that's when Connor takes the initiative and tries to escape. And we have a little chase scene or something.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm okay with that. I don't know if like the key is like a 2-parter, because Jack has the key and he's going to be there, and either they go back to Miami, Connor flees, or they wait for Jack. I think that's the only choices they would have now. Maybe Jack doesn't know the location, but they do.
Yeah.
I don't know how to get them together though.
The classic one is that Jack might have planted a tracker on their vehicle. Maybe Connor has location settings on his phone.
Oh, yeah, that's fine. They have a Find My Friend app.
Yeah, because he always gets lost in the Everglades.
Yeah, he's always lost. Yeah. So yeah, there's he just turns a Find My Friend on, and the only one on there is Connor.
Has a Find My Friend app on because he's always geocaching in the wilderness and gets lost enough that Jasmine, man, I like to hold down that shift key. Gets lost enough that Jasmine has to come get him.
So, and if we allude to that in the beginning, like say that he's going on a quick like geocaching trip and he gets so lost that Jasmine has to use that app to find him. And that would be a good way to kind of like foreshadow that, which would also let him know like he was so far away from his original target. Yeah. I think that's cool.
something like I mean, hell, it could even be a line where he's like, "Thanks for covering. I got this contest. I gotta go." And she's like, "Do you have the app?" And he's like, he asks her, "Do you still have that app? You still have that app, right?" And she goes, "I just haven't gotten around to deleting it yet." And he goes,
Yeah.
"Atta girl." And you're like,
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. I'm into that. So then Jack turns the location thing on, and he's like,
Yeah.
"Ugh, Alexandria, Virginia. I should have known."
Okay, cool. And escapes while turning on the Find My Friend app on his phone. We got a little chase around Alexandria. We can showcase the city a little bit.
Yeah.
Alexandria, Virginia landmarks. Let's see what there is in here.
So one of the two guys chases Connor, and the other one has to wait by the key, knowing Jack's going to be there soon. Or
that's kind of a neat building.
Yeah.
Huh. George Washington Masonic National Memorial.
Yeah.
All right.
We all like Sonics.
Nah.
No. Okay. Fair.
Sonic the Hedgehog?
No.
Oh.
The Tater Tot and Milkshake place.
Okay. Whatever.
They got tots, bruh.
Yeah, a lot of places have tots, and they're probably
No,
better.
they don't.
Mm-hmm.
Name another place that got tots.
Wendy's
does not have tots.
When was the last time you went to Wendy's?
Today.
I don't believe that.
All right, well, let's move on with the story.
All right, moving on. So, Connor takes the initiative in their confusion and escapes while turning on the Find My Friend app on his phone. Little chase scene around Alexandria, with Connor showing his geocaching parkour skills while Dirk and Patton bumble around.
Yeah.
I'm going to mark unseen by the audience. That way we think it's like, oh, it's the lowest point of the movie. How are they going to connect to each other? And then we end the chase scene with Connor, like, Connor, I don't know, jumps into a river or something to escape and gets away. He gets away somehow. And he's been in the Everglades, so he can swim. Like, he's used to water.
Yeah.
Cut to Jasmine. What's Jasmine doing with Jack? I imagine he's kind of a gentleman. Like,
he doesn't want to hurt anybody. He's fine. But if they're still using that app, then it's going around in a river and wherever Connor is. And so Jack's probably like, damn it, they're on to me.
Let's see. Oh, yeah. Jack's like, well, they pretty clearly thrown his cell phone overboard.
Yeah. Oh, they probably did that thing where they tied it to a raccoon.
But they were in Alexandria.
Yeah. So let's go there.
Jack is a gentleman thief and exposits to Jasmine about the clue trail so far. Yeah. The hunt for Cleopatra's tomb.
I would assume that this is the conversation where we find out that Jack's probably a good guy, that the other two probably somehow got over on him at one point.
Yeah.
Or maybe they were like a trio, and then them two got a little too close, or like they started a relationship, so he felt third wheelie. And
there's bad blood there.
Yeah.
Of some sort. Yeah.
But either way, we got to get to the point where it's like, oh, actually, Jack's not a bad dude.
Yeah, there's bad blood there, but it's not hateful. Hey, they don't hate each other, but there's some resentment there.
I would. So what I'm gonna assume is that Dirk and Patton had a relationship, which pushed Jack out of the group, right? And then, as some relationships do, that broke off. So that's why Patton and Dirk are not good friends. Not that close anymore, but this is like the big score. They want to be on the right side of history. Now they're getting back together while hunting Connor, and then through
the entire thing is Jack's attempt to get all three of them back together.
Yeah,
cool. And I think that's a good place to stop because we're at like 55 minutes right now.
Oh dang, right on.
I know. Wow, we really.
All right, well let's do our to-do list then.
Yes.
Because I like knowing where we left off and what we were planning on getting done.
Okay.
So I think we just need to solidify the ending, and figure out like a solid Act 3 arc line.
Yeah. Cool. second half of Act 2, because I feel like, this is kind of the second half. This is the first half. We'll have a second half where everybody kind of gets back on their ascent.
Yeah.
And then we'll get into Act 3, which is like the big final tomb raid, whatever.
Yeah, why don't we do like those plot points next week?
Sure, the beats.
I think we should do the beats again.
Cool.
I think that's a really good way to kind of help us figure out where we are in the story.
Beat sheet. Cool.
Yeah, cool.
All right.
Excellent. All right. Well, that's another episode. What is that? Episode 48, I think?
Yeah, we're close to 100 combined on these things.
Wowee.
I know.
Wowee. We are getting there. So if you want to follow the stuff we do, obviously Silicon Angels is a really weird improv kind of thing about sex robots and the IT calls that have to go with them. We have a beautiful 17 episode kind of thing, create your own pod venture, where you can choose the path that you want to take. You listen to episode 1, you're like, I think that I should not eat this plant. I think that I should put this plant on my wounds. If that's intriguing to you, check it out. Create your own pod venture. Awesome 17, little tight thing. Mm-hmm. We have a new show coming out soon called PowerPoint Showdown. You'll be seeing that in the next couple of weeks. Really weird improv based thing that Dylan and I put together with Michael Colby. Mm-hmm. And like I said, season 2 of Talking Upstream is going on. The first one with Taylor King is out. Next week will be the casting director of The Incredibles, Princess and the Frog. Her name is Jen Rudin. She's amazing.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah, like the president of an animation company. I'm not sure how we got that. We got pretty good producers that are getting
good email.
Really good. We're getting some pretty good gigs here. And also, we got some friends, that really help us out and really motivate us. They're over on Patreon. We have, Red Flanagan. You got Sarah Tkachuk. You got Tanya Sheck, our East Coast friends. Some other people that really push our show. You got Mr. James E. over at the E Foundation doing some cool stuff with chess and kids. Jeff Dwoskin with all of his weird shows. He's got some pretty good interviews going on.
I saw.
If you watch his shows at all. And also Scott Curtis behind the bits. He's moving and grooving and doing his old man thing, which is great. Good luck to the future. We're looking out for those 2022 Snobby Awards. Hopefully we can capture a couple of those this year. That we were 2 years running with awards.
Oh, yeah.
We got some awards.
Yeah, we're award winning.
We should put them right under our belt. But yeah, that's it, guys. Like, open up something, type in Some Nobodies, and check us out. And if not, that's cool too. We appreciate your time. If you want to,
thanks for being a snoof.
Yeah, thanks for being a snoof, everybody. We appreciate it. We're gonna probably try to make that work down in the future. Dylan, do you have any words of wisdom to tell our friends?
No.
Love it. All right. Well, until next time, folks. I have been Zach. He's been Dylan. And you've been great. Drink some water. Have a great day.
Yeah. Bye, everybody.
Bye. Ah.